This is the video camera that I modeled in the last video, and what I've done here is I've just added a few little extrusions here, and I added a plane here that I subdivided and just pulled forward a little bit to create the glass of the lens. And I believe I also gave it a material of glass too. Alright, so I've now exported this as an FBX, and I'm going to bring it into Substance Painter for texturing. So here in Substance Painter, I'm going to go File, New, and I'm going to click here, Use UV Tile Workflow, because I have UV tiles. And here's my model. And you can see that it's come in with the body material with a few UV tiles, an emissive material, glass, and glass too. Okay, it's now time to bake the mesh maps. So I'm going to do this at 2K, uncheck ID, and click Bake Select Textures. Now that the maps are baked, we can have a look at the model and see. Notice that I had moved this piece out and it hasn't affected this piece here, whereas if it was right on top, there'd be a dark shadow on this. Alright, so we can get to texturing this. I'm going to start on the body, come to the layers, delete that layer. I'm going to come to my smart materials, and I'm going to choose a smart material that I already have, this one that I've used before, and essentially we'll just have a quick look at this. This has got a plastic glossy and some smudges on it. Alright, so you could easily create that or use just a plastic material, but I want to use that on there for my main body material. Alright, I'm going to go back to materials now, and I'm going to search for plastic. Just in general, I'm going to take this plastic mat, drag it up, and I'm going to come into the properties. I'll get rid of the metal, I don't need that. I'm going to change this to a black color, or close to a black color, and I'm going to drop the roughness so it's relatively shiny, and I'm going to put a black mask on that. And I want to use my polygon fill tool on mesh fill, and click there to make that black. So we have that so far. Now I'm also going to do some more on these things here. So let's go back to the black mask and click these. And fortunately, this is getting that whole section right there, and not the top, which will have a different material on it. Okay, so far so good. Now the next thing we're going to do is let's do some glass material. So I'm going to click on the glass. I'll get rid of that. And we're going to work on this here. What I need to do is come up to the shader and change this from PBR Metal Rough to this one here, PBR Metal Rough with alpha blending. Alright, and I also have to go to my texture set settings and add an opacity channel. So I'll do that. And then I'll come to my smart materials and I'll search for glass. And this one here ships with Substance Painter, so we'll just use that. And we'll get this kind of blue color. Now, I do want it pretty see-through, and you can adjust that here in the base. You can see down here the opacity. Okay, I'll bring it down to about halfway. You can change the color if you want, that kind of thing. The other thing I could do if I wanted to is I could put some smudges on it, but I'm not sure I want to do that. Yeah, maybe I will do that anyhow. I'll add a fill layer, and I'm going to add a black mask, and I'm going to add a fill to that, and this is just going to be roughness, let's say. I'm just going to affect the roughness. Alright, so in here, let's do a grunge. Let's try something. Let's try this and see what it looks like. Alright, so that has changed. So there's some grungy spots and some less grunge spots. I can also still come back here and I can adjust the overall roughness. That may not be a good one to use, so we'll just have another look here. So maybe let's just try something else. Try that in. Try planar. Yeah, something, you know. Play around with these for a while. All right, let me just go for that, just for this video, so you get the general idea anyhow. Okay, so I've got my glass there. Now let's go to glass 2, which is really not going to be glass, but I called it glass. I'm going to put a fill layer on there, and we'll have some, let's say, color, and maybe, I don't know if I need roughness on there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the metallic all the way up for that. Let's actually hide this one, and let's make this a darker color, almost black, like that. Maybe I will do roughness, and we'll just drop it down. So we get this. I want it pretty reflective, like that, and that's okay. And I could put some. We'll try dirt. I'll add a fill layer, color, and roughness. I'll bring the roughness all the way up. And for the dirt, we'll try a dark brown. I might try a light color too. We'll see. Let's add a black mask and a generator and dirt and see if we can get it to work. There we go. Just sort of right around the edges. We'll try to use that. There we go. Just a little bit in there. Okay, they'll never be even noticeable, but that's the way it is anyhow. Okay, let's go on. I'll leave the glass off for the moment. Let's work on the emissive now. All right, I'll come to there. I'll get rid of that layer, and I'm going to add an emissive channel because there isn't one. And I'm also going to increase the emissive intensity a little bit here, and then we'll get going on that. So let's add a fill layer. And in the fill layer, I'm just going to choose emission for now. You can do color as well, but I'll do this and come up with something that I like. You can start with that, then I'll come to the display settings and activate post effects, glare. Watch your eyes here. Yeah, and I'll open up glare and I'll put on bloom. So I can come back here and decrease the emissive intensity, and that can become quite hard on your eyes, so I won't leave that on all the time. But what I'd like to do is come back to Blender now, take this piece, and now just pull it in like this. Select everything again and export that as an FBX. And then come back to Substance Painter, and let's make sure that that's visible, so you can see that it's out here first of all. And I'm not sure I like the grunge on that. I might get rid of that and just have that clean. Anyhow, come up to Edit, Project Configuration, select, make sure this is the right one, or you can find it in here. Security Camera Texturing Video, open, and OK. And that'll pop that in there, and just quickly do that. And now we've got that in there. All right, so far so good. Let's have a look at not doing that. I'm just leaving it off in case I change my mind. All right, I'm going to come back to the body, and this is black, and this is basically white. And I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to add a paint layer. We're going to do some alpha work here. I'm going to scroll down and choose color and height. The color is going to be close to black. The height, I'm going to come down about 1/3 or so. Something like that. I'm going to switch to orthographic and snap it into that front view. And I'll come to my alphas. I'm going to search for bolt. This happens to be a bolt that I bought, but you could use a circle, or you could find another bolt alpha. I'm going to turn on symmetry and scale that down a little bit, and just drop a bolt in there. I might go a little bit bigger actually, just to exaggerate it a little bit. So we'll drop that in there. It doesn't have to be exactly central. Kind of looks better if it isn't. So I have those two things there. And I'm going to leave the settings. I'm also going to search for dots. And I tend to use that all the time. I know it's pretty standard, but I'm going to turn that and then increase the size. I'm still in symmetry, so I'm going to do that. All right, now I'm going to take off that. And I'm going to search for font. And I'm going to use this Courier. But I'm going to bring that back. And we're also going to use less height. I will use a little bit of height, just a touch of height. And then we'll type in here something like L57A-1. Don't ask me what that means. Increase the size a little bit. I'm going to put that down around here. Click that to have just a little bit of text on there. And that's good so far. Let's see, what else do I need? Okay. I'm going to hide the glass, and I'm going to hide the emission so it's not bothering our eyes right now. And I'm going to come in here. I'm going to do something around there. So let's go back to this and let's turn on just color. And I'm doing it all on the same paint layer, as you can see. Nice and bright white. And circle. Choose this one and increase the border width to 1 and scale it down. Keeping in mind, I want to go around here, I guess. We'll try it on there. I don't know how it's going to look, but let's click symmetry and then the settings, radial symmetry in the Z, 360, and drag this up to the max, which is 16. And let's just see what it looks like if I click on there. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'll say I click there. And then I come around in between to sort of double it up, and I'll have that. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get to the side, can a little bit, and I'm going to see if I can take that and just hold down Shift and Control and do an edge there. I think I could do that, but I'm going to change things. I'm going to come down. I want height. I'm going to drop the height down quite a bit. I could actually switch to a square. I don't know that it'll matter that much really for this though. Anyways, we'll do that. Make it nice and small. Look right on the side. And I'm going to click, hold Shift and Control to constrain it. And do that. And it should go all the way around. Just as something else to have on there. So if I bring back the emission and the glass, you can see a little bit of stuff through there. All right. Okay. Let's call this alpha, and we'll add a little bit of dirt to this. Let's turn that off. So fill layer. This is on the body now. Color and roughness. Bring the roughness all the way up as usual, and we'll go for sort of a brownish color here, dark brown, and a black mask. And we'll just use a generator for this. And then I just want a little bit to sort of darken up, especially in here. So I've got that. That's probably okay with me. And so what I want to do now is, if that is the dirt layer, I want to add an anchor point here and refer to it in the dirt generator. Right down here, micro details, change that micro height to true. Micro height, select the anchor, and then change base color here to height, and watch the screws. And again, there's not that much dirt, but a little bit darker. It looks a little bit more realistic. So we have a bit of dirt on there, and that's looking fine, and it also will have affected this text a little bit. And the final thing really is, if you want to put a decal on this, I'm not sure I would keep this, but in orthographic, look down from the top. I'm going to, I think on top of here, I'll create a paint layer, and I'm going to import a resource, a decal, just this one, .png. All right, I'm going to define it as a texture in my current project. So there it is. I'm going to click on projection, and here I'm going to drop it on the base color, and I'm also going to turn on roughness, and I'm going to lower the roughness so it's kind of shiny. And I can move my main sort of camera to move my model around, or I can press S and right mouse button and make this smaller and just get it where I pretty much want it. Like, let's say I wanted it there. All right, I'm going to increase the hardness of my brush and then just paint over it. And there it is. Then there'd be a sticker. Go back to the brush. And now there's a sticker on there. I'm going to switch to perspective to view this. Yeah, all right. And let's increase the resolution here to 2K. And also in here in the shader settings, display settings down here, activate temporal anti-aliasing just to smooth the edges a little bit. And now we can maximize by hitting tab. And there is the security camera. And you can play around depending on what you intend to do with this. In the display settings, click here on that mountain thing. You can change the HDRI. Sometimes I'll use, where's that? Bus garage. Sometimes I like that one. Yeah, that's good enough just to illustrate to you what we've got. All right, just decide if you want that glass to be, more, rough and scratched or dirty or whatever. But that's basically it. There is the security camera textured, and time to move on to something else. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.